The man accused of setting off a pipe bomb and planting some pressure cookers in New Jersey and New York now wants his trial held in Burlington this morning. We'll tell you why.
Plus, a new college transfer program aims to make higher education accessible for all Vermonters.
And President Trump focuses on foreign policy as he welcomes China's president to his Mar-a-Lago estate.
NBC 5 News Today starts now.
And a very good morning to you. It is 5:31 now on this Thursday, April 6th. I'm David Schneider.
And I'm Vanessa Mashani. Caitlin has the morning off again. But before we get into our top stories, meteorologist Tyler Jankowski has our wake-up weather. And unfortunately, a lot of people waking up to some rain.
Yeah, that's right. Rain is moving in as we expected around the time of the morning commute. It's first in the St. Lawrence Valley, so it's raining in especially southern portions of St. Lawrence County. Not doing anything here in Lake Champlain, or I should say the Champlain Valley, but this band of rain will approach over the next couple of hours, certainly the most widespread. The heaviest rain is going to wait until the afternoon and evening hours. The system as a whole looks pretty ragged right now, but it's getting its act together. So by later today, the radar picture is going to look a lot more impressive as the rain moves overhead. Temperatures right now are all above freezing, so that is some good news. It's 35 in Newport, 40 in Plattsburgh, 43 in Burlington. So here's Futurecast. We're starting the clock right now. It's depicting that band over northern New York. It continues to the lift to the north. And here is 12 noon, lunchtime. It's raining in most spots as we come on for the news at noon. And look at all these yellows and reds by later on. And that is when the heaviest of the rain is expected. More than an inch for most spots. 40 the high in Montpelier, 46 in Burlington. So it is a chilly rain out there. And we do have some flooding concerns for tomorrow. We'll talk about that in a major warm-up in a little bit. For now, though, back to you.
Hi, Tyler. Thank you. Well, this morning, the man accused of setting off pipe bombs in New Jersey and New York back in September has asked a judge to move his trial to Vermont. Lawyers for Ahmad Khan Rahimi said he'd get a fairer trial in Burlington, where media coverage of his case was much less. Now, you'll remember Rahimi is charged with detonating a pipe bomb in Seaside Park, New Jersey, and then planting 2 pressure cooker bombs in Manhattan. He's pleaded not guilty.
The company that took over IBM's chip-making operations in Vermont, Global Foundries, has announced it will offer buyouts to some longtime employees. The company official says the voluntary separation program is focused on those nearing retirement. Programs being offered to employees company-wide, including those in Essex Junction. The buyouts begin this spring. The company says it's not planning any layoffs right now. It's one of several cost-cutting measures being done to better its financial position.
Well, Brattleboro police have identified the man found dead in Whetstone Brook last week. They say 38-year-old Andre Miller Jr. of Fitchburg, Massachusetts, was found in the brook last Tuesday. Police do not yet have a cause of death, but they do not think it's a homicide. Officers are currently waiting for toxicology test results. Police say if you do have any information about this case, give them a call. Their number is right there on the screen.
A Springfield, Vermont man had to be airlifted to Albany Medical Center after a serious crash near Rutland. State police say 36-year-old William Downs hit the back of a FedEx tractor trailer on Route 103 in Mount Holly yesterday. The truck was pulled off the side and had its hazard lights on. Officials say Downs was seriously hurt. The driver of the tractor was not hurt. The cause of the collision is still under investigation.
Very sad news for the Dartmouth community this morning. The Washington State Coast Guard has called off its search for a missing Dartmouth student. Joshua Monette was swept off the rocks at Cape Flattery while hiking with a friend. Monette's backpack was found in the water, but there was no sign of the sophomore. Dartmouth is offering support and counseling for students.
This morning, community members have raised thousands of dollars, all to help a family of 5 after fire destroyed their Peru home. Several fire departments battled the flames on Highness Terrace Tuesday. The home was destroyed, along with most of the family's belongings. Investigators are working to determine the cause. A GoFundMe account has been set up where more than $8,000 have been raised so far.
Well, a Kentucky man known as the Godfather of Grass is being held in Vermont right now at a prison there after being deported from Canada. Officials say John Boone was turned over to U.S. authorities at the Highgate Springs Crossing. The 73-year-old was convicted back in the 1980s in what prosecutors called the largest domestic marijuana syndicate in American history. They say he was the head of the Cornbread Mafia. which had 29 marijuana farms in 9 states. Now, he ran away to Canada after an indictment 9 years ago. Boone is now waiting to be taken back to Kentucky to answer to federal marijuana charges.
Now, First Alert weather on the 5s.
Good morning, 5:35 on this Thursday morning. We do have rain moving into northern New York. That is the first part of the viewing area that's going to see it. We'll take a look here on Storm Tracker. A closer inspection here with the super resolution version shows the rain now falling in Tupper Lake up to almost Saranac Lake. I think that's the next spot to see the rain. This is all lifting to the north and east. So in the Champlain Valley, it will be a few more hours before it starts raining. We're looking at a high of 42 in Plattsburgh, up to about 46 in Burlington. So it is a chilly rain, and it will be breezy from the south and east today. Here are high temperatures in southern Vermont, upper 30s in the Connecticut River Valley, and lower 40s in the Bennington area. So we'll take you through this storm and look at a major change to our weather as we head into early next week here in a bit. For now, though, over to you.
All right, Tyler, thanks. Today in Washington, President Trump begins the highly anticipated meeting with his Chinese counterpart.
That's right. The two leaders will meet in Florida for a 2-day summit, coming amid new provocations from North Korea. Leanne Denner previews that meeting.
Well, North Korea is expected to be a major topic when Trump hosts Chinese president today and tomorrow. The two will also tackle trade. That's an issue that candidate Trump promised improvement on throughout the 2016 campaign. President Xi largely believes that globalization is a win-win. Trump has a different point of view, though. China is the largest source of $500 billion trade deficit, and President Trump has accused China of being responsible for stealing U.S. jobs and hurting the economy. On the other hand, China is North Korea's really only ally and accounts for some 70% of the country's trade. Well, Trump blames China for not using that leverage to curb North Korea's development of a nuclear program.
China is the only country in the world that has predominant material influence on North Korea in trade, energy, and in coal. If China pulls the plug, then North Korea really has no other options.
And if trade negotiations aren't the solution, Trump has said all options are on the table, so military action could be possible as well. Not too many details on that just yet. But today's meeting comes as scrutiny of Trump's business ties to China remain. Chinese government-owned bank is a tenant of Trump Tower in Beijing. The president denies any conflicts of interest because his sons now run the family business.
All right, now to state of addiction. The opioid crisis has claimed the lives of 2 people so far this year in Keene, New Hampshire. Keene Fire says Narcan needed to be used a total of 3 times for the last 2 patients in the past month. In February, Narcan was used 5 times between 3 patients, and in January, it was used 18 times between 8 different patients.
Well, now an update on that sewage spill in Lake Champlain. More than 1 million gallons of partially treated sewage has spewed into the lake, and now officials are saying that the city's water infrastructure needs major upgrades. Public Works officials say Mother Nature was the problem, blaming it on the rain and snow melt from last Friday. While they say storms right now can be difficult to handle, plans are moving forward to make upgrades to the Burlington Water Treatment Facility.
We're fully staffed. We have worked with our large customers to stop all non-traditional discharges coming into the plant. We have brought in a different type of polymer to better handle the influent coming into the plant. We are well prepared, and we will continue to be well prepared.
Despite the spill, experts say the amount of water released is small compared to the size of the lake.
Well, big news for anyone looking to head to State College in Vermont.
Yeah, that's right. The Vermont State College system has created the direct admissions program. That gives Community College of Vermont grads guaranteed transfer admission into Castleton University, Johnson State, Linden State, or Vermont Tech.
There, students can enroll in any bachelor's degree program. Officials say this will save students time and money and eliminate the uncertainty of the transfer process.
Big changes ahead for Killington. What you can expect to see in the coming ski seasons still ahead.
Plus, floodwaters cover towns in New Zealand after a levee fails, prompting a state of emergency there. Stay with us.
Now, First Alert weather with meteorologist Tyler Jankowski.
Good morning. We have a view over Burlington here where the visibility is pretty decent. You can't quite see all the Adirondacks, but certainly it's a dry scene. The temperature is 43 and we're looking at mid-40s today as the rain picks up this afternoon. So it's a chilly rain. It's also a breezy day, particularly if you're on the western slopes of the Green Mountains. 43 right now in Burlington, but 35 in St. Jay and 39 in Lebanon. The first band of rain is currently over northern New York, but you go behind it or just south of it and there's not a whole lot going on. So it will be several hours before the main slug of moisture gets in here. That doesn't happen until after noon. And as we go into the afternoon, that is when we're looking at the large bulk of the accumulation here. And most of the rain activity will wind down tonight, though some showers will continue into the Friday and Saturday periods here with the system still overhead. So here's Futurecast. Notice the yellows this afternoon and evening. And then as we go into tomorrow, still some rain showers. Some of those rain showers might end as snow showers on Saturday morning, but we're not expecting any accumulation. Here are the wind gusts at 4:30. Notice the western Green Mountain slopes, 48 miles per hour in Middlebury. That's where the strongest wind gusts will be today. We're also looking at a flood potential, minor to moderate flooding heading into tomorrow morning. The crests will be tomorrow, and then the rivers will go down heading into Saturday. Early next week, we soar into the 70s with a Bermuda high pressure system. It's warm on Monday, up near 70, then the lower 70s arrive on Tuesday. Here's the forecast going forward. We have the gloomy weather through early Saturday. Sunday, the pick of the weekend with temperatures in the middle 50s. And then there's that big time warm up on Monday and Tuesday. That's my latest First Alert forecast. Back over to you.
6:47, this is News to Go. A state of emergency was declared after a levee failed, flooding a town in New Zealand's North Island. Rescuers used boats and tractors to help evacuate about 2,000 people there. A river burst through the concrete levee, inundating hundreds of homes and businesses. New Zealand has been drenched by the remnants of a cyclone that hit Australia last week. Meanwhile, the death toll from Colombia's mudslides has risen up to 293 now, according to the country's president. More than 300 are injured. Torrential rains Friday night caused 3 rivers to overflow, sending mud and debris through the city of Mocoa. As of yesterday, the president said another 314 people are still missing here. 2,700 are living in shelters.
And more News to Go. Severe weather also passing through the southern United States. In Columbia, South Carolina, heavy rain caused flash flooding. Rushing water turned many downtown streets into virtual rivers. Just look at these pictures. A tornado touched down in western Georgia, knocking down trees and destroying everything in its path. And rising floodwaters in Atlanta caught drivers off guard. Trucks had to be abandoned when Peachtree Creek overran its banks. In California, a 30-year-old woman was trapped under a 1,500-pound boulder, leaving her unconscious at the top of North Table Mountain. Golden police say rescue crews hiked up on foot, got the woman stabilized, and then removed her from under the rock. An incredible rescue. They used a rope system to walk her up the mountain and out to a waiting helicopter.
Nearly 3 months after legendary astronaut John Glenn died, mourners will attend a private funeral for him at Arlington National Cemetery today. Before he started his political career as senator, Glenn became the first American to orbit the Earth. He made history again in 1998 as the oldest person sent into space. Glenn died in December at 95 years old.
More News to Go now. Victims of Tuesday's deadly attack on civilians in Syria showed signs of nerve gas exposure. That word from both a UN body and the medical charity Doctors Without Borders. Now, the death toll stands at more than 80. The Trump administration and others say the Syrian government is to blame here. Syrian's foreign minister responding this morning, saying his country never used and will never use chemical weapons. And just into the newsroom, as the country recovers from that chemical attack, we've now learned that ISIS has executed 33 people in Syria. It's believed to be the group's largest mass killing in 2017. No word yet on what prompted the carnage.
More News to Go. Time now is 6:50. That attack in Syria comes as President Trump welcomes his Chinese counterpart to Mar-a-Lago today. The two are expected to discuss multiple foreign policy issues.
That's right. That includes North Korea's test firing of another missile. Leanne Denyer is live to preview that meeting.
Well, the two-day meeting at Trump's Mar-a-Lago estate begins today, and it comes just days after North Korea tested a ballistic missile. This meeting should show us just how much the U.S. plans to lean on China as they deal with an increasingly aggressive North Korea.
We have a big problem. We have somebody that is not doing the right thing, and that's going to be my responsibility.
Trump has threatened sanctions on Chinese banks and U.S. military action against North Korea. North Korea will be a major topic as Trump hosts the Chinese president today and tomorrow. Trump wants China to help him in restraining North Korea's nuclear program, saying if Beijing won't, the U.S. will act alone. And just in this morning, President Trump and the Japanese Prime Minister Shinzo Abe spoke about North Korea just this morning. Abe says that the two agreed that the North Koreans' ballistic missile launch on Wednesday morning was a threat to Japan's security. The Prime Minister said he's also watching how China handles this relationship with North Korea moving forward. Trump is set to meet with President Xi Jinping at Mar-a-Lago in Florida today and tomorrow. Well, and as the president continues this focus on foreign policy, the Senate is expected to begin a Supreme Court showdown in Washington today. Democrats have enough votes to block nominee Neil Gorsuch, which may prompt Republicans to, as they have been calling it, go nuclear and change the rules. Here's Nicole Killian.
Leanne, today the Senate Majority Leader could pull the trigger on the nuclear option. It would change Senate rules so that only a simple majority would be required to confirm Judge Neil Gorsuch instead of the 60 votes that are currently required. The move would prevent Democrats from filibustering Gorsuch, but some lawmakers worry it could fundamentally alter the Senate and do away with bipartisanship.
We are standing on the brink of an irrevocable change to the way this body conducts business.
Democrats would filibuster Ruth Bader Ginsburg if President Trump nominated her.
If all goes as expected, the stage could be set for a confirmation vote on Gorsuch Friday. In Washington, Nicole Killian, NBC 5 News.
Now to an update on state budget negotiations in New York. Negotiations have collapsed this morning in Albany. Governor Andrew Cuomo said he will keep negotiating as long as lawmakers stay in Albany, but some state senators have walked out. The Republican Senate leader says he'll call members back when and if Democrats and the governor come to an agreement. Cuomo says the holdup centers around an affordable housing tax credit and juvenile justice reforms. Lawmakers hope to reach a deal on the $152 billion budget by tomorrow.
More news to go at 6:53. The company that took over IBM's chip-making operations in Vermont, Global Foundries, has announced it will offer buyouts to longtime employees. The company will focus on those nearing retirement. No layoffs are planned right now. The buyouts are one of several cost-cutting measures being used to better the company's financial position.
Well, just one day after more than 1 million gallons of partially treated sewage spewed into Lake Champlain, officials say the city's water infrastructure needs major upgrades. Public Works officials blame the spill on the rain and snow melt last Friday, but they say plans are moving forward to make upgrades to the Burlington Water Treatment Facility to better handle excess water coming into the plant.
More news to go now. Do you recognize the man on your screen there? Police say he robbed Capitol Steel in Berlin, and they're trying to identify him. It happened Monday. The man broke through a window and rummaged through some of the business's office things. If you know anything about that, give police a call. And this morning, community members have raised thousands of dollars to help out the family of 5 after fire destroyed their Peru, New York home. The Haynes Terrace home was destroyed Tuesday along with most of the family's belongings. No word yet on what caused it. A GoFundMe account has been set up where more than $8,000 has been raised so far.
Well, this morning, St. Lawrence County fire officials are investigating a deadly house fire in DeKalb. Emergency crews were told someone was trapped inside of a burning building on Old Canton Road. It caught fire yesterday afternoon, sometime around 3:30. Now, when firefighters arrived, they found the victim in an upstairs bedroom. That person was pronounced dead at the scene. They've not yet released the victim's name. Well, the man accused of setting off pipe bombs in New Jersey and New York back in September has now asked a judge to move his trial to Vermont. Lawmakers for Ahmad Khan Rahimi said he'd get a fairer trial in Burlington, where media coverage of his case was much less. Now, if you remember, Rahimi is charged with detonating a pipe bomb in Seaside Park, New Jersey, and then planting 2 pressure cooker bombs in Manhattan. He has pleaded not guilty.
Now, First Alert weather on the 5s.
You'll need that umbrella today. It's not raining everywhere yet, but the rain is getting organized to the south. Want to show you Storm Tracker. Where it is raining right now is northern New York and parts of southern Vermont, but it's not all that heavy in most spots. So we do have to wait until this afternoon for the most intense, most consistent rain. And the planner does show temperatures only rising into the mid-40s. So it's a raw day. It's also a breezy day. The western slopes of the Green Mountains will be gustiest, perhaps over 40 miles per hour. The weekend is 50-50. Some rain and snow showers left over Saturday, but dry Sunday. Upper 60s and lower 70s by Monday and Tuesday. Back over to you.
Thanks, Tyler. Well, pretty big news for anyone looking to head to a state college in Vermont.
Yeah, that's right. The Vermont State College System has created the direct admissions program that gives Community College of Vermont graduates guaranteed transfer admission into either Castleton University, Johnson State, Linden State, or Vermont Tech.
Officials say this will save students time and money and eliminate the uncertainty of the transfer process.
If you're putting jelly beans in your Easter baskets, chances are you'll include juicy pear if you live in Vermont or New Hampshire.
New Yorkers, you'll probably be choosing buttered popcorn. CandyStore.com surveyed thousands of people to track each state's most popular jelly bean flavor. #1 nationwide is actually black licorice.
Really?
That's what they say.
I don't know about that, but rounding out the top 5 is buttered popcorn, watermelon, cherry, and cinnamon.
I love black licorice.
Really?
Here's a fun fact for you. I love it.
It's good.
Yeah, so good.
Raspberry all the way. Raspberry never gets enough love.
You ever make someone make the flavors like mix raspberry and pear and it's like a pear torte?
Not that combination.
No, not that creative.
I recommend it. It's good times. Anyway, thanks so much for joining us here at NBC5 News today. We hope you have a great one.
Download our app if you haven't.
Enjoy the jelly beans. See you in half an hour.
Good morning. Coming up on a Thursday here on Today, Al is tracking a new storm threat. This is affecting people all up and down the East Coast. Also ahead, President Trump facing new questions about how to deal with Syria and North Korea as he gets set for today's high-stakes summit with China's president, where they're live. Then new concerns over your fruits and vegetables after a proposed ban of a controversial pesticide is suddenly overruled. And Carson's live with Jimmy Fallon down in Florida for the grand opening of Jimmy's new Universal Orlando ride. They've got that and much more ahead as we get set to see you on a Thursday morning right here on Today.
The men and women of